Hello everyone, it has been a long time since we posted anything. One reason being the pandemic, another reason, as some of you might know, that I have been struggling with my health for almost 1 year by now and I'm still not up to speed. However, I wanted to do a processing video of how to make a time lapse since I worked with MSI on stage in Taiwan back in 2019. Now, finally, it's here. I got a lot of messages throughout the last couple of years from people messaging me in my inboxes, asking questions on how to do this and that when processing a time lapse. Recently, a girl from LA, Cindy, she reached out for me quite a lot, asking questions. So in the end, I thought, okay, let's do a video call and go through the process, answer some of her questions and see how it goes. What you're going to see now is me processing the time lapse Cindy has been shooting in LA, a beautiful sunrise. And she uploaded the files from LA to my server here in Denmark. And then I could grab them and process it while talking with Cindy. So hope you will enjoy this rather unusual video. Maybe you can learn a bit and feel free to leave a comment in the section if you found something inspiring or if you have any questions related to this. And don't forget, click that subscribe button. It's always nice to have new followers. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Hi, Henrik. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you over the internet. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad we found the chance to do this. I've really admired your work. I'm a huge fan of your time lapses, especially like those epic footages you took in Taiwan were really great.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So today you're actually going to show me how to process a time lapse from the beginning.
Right. You have been uploading some files to me from Los Angeles to Denmark to my server here. So yeah, I should be having a bunch of files on my server. So I'll have a look at it and see how we process it. And yeah, we just take it a simple one and do it step by step and see how it goes.
That's great. It's really excited about this. So these footages, I took it for sunrise on the Hollywood Hills. It's a sunrise with downtown LA silhouette in the background. And I shot all the footages in RAW, and I pretty much just transferred it out of the memory card and uploaded to you.
And there's a bunch of photos. There's like 1,208 files. Let me see.
So when I started recording, I think the footage was at 9. It started with the file DSC 9883, and then you went to 9999. And for Sony cam, I shot on a Sony Alpha 7 III. So once you reach 9999, then it starts counting back to 1. And then from there you went to I think almost the 900s. All
right. So your shutter counter was not reset in your camera.
Right? Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay.
So you recommend definitely I should do that as a first step.
Yes.
Taking the time lapse.
Yeah. Every time I shoot a time lapse, I will always reset the counter on my camera, so it starts with 0. So I don't have to hassle around with renaming photos afterwards.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works on Sony cams, but on my Canon, I can create folders inside my camera. So when I shoot one lapse, I create a new folder and I shoot the lapse again. I reset my counter, create a new folder and shoot the next lapse. So when I come back to my computer, actually I have folders on my memory card with
it's already organized for you.
Yeah, it's a workflow I established over time, because if you just shoot like 6-7 time lapses on one memory card, it just becomes really messy very fast. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is that I will start LRTimelapse. First thing.
So this is just straight from the computer. You don't even have to go into Lightroom.
Not yet.
Start.
Not yet. That will come afterwards. So first of all, we want to make sure the transitions are smooth. So we have a bunch of files here from you. And I believe you shot these on manual mode, or how did you shoot these?
I think I shot in aperture priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
and
camera took care of it by itself, no problem.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. On Sony cameras, you can get away with doing that pretty well. Basically on any mirrorless camera, they are so good today that you can usually get away with it shooting on aperture mode. But if you go full manual and with DSLRs like Nikon and Canon, traditional DSLRs, you can't get away with it. You have to go full manual. Otherwise, the flickering will be insanely crazy visible. But here it's probably really okay. So let's see.
Yeah, it's actually the first time I'm shooting into the rising sun, and I didn't have a neutral density filter with me, so I wasn't feeling confident that day. So I have started shooting menu, full menu recently per your advice. But for this one, since I didn't have an MD filter, I didn't know how bright the sun will be once it comes out, and I thought I'd just be conservative and shoot in aperture. It's my comfort zone.
Yeah, it's difficult to manage in the beginning, especially when you have those sunrises, because the sun can be extremely strong. Sometimes you can save it in post, but ND filter is definitely recommended.
And for sunrise, what would you recommend start shooting? Like, typically get there maybe half an hour before the official sunrise time, and I start shooting.
Well, I like to see the glow coming out, and on your time lapse, the glow is already there. So usually when I shoot sunrises, I would probably be there 1.5 hours earlier.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you basically have to not really sleep that night, at least when your sunrise is early. Yeah. I mean, right now in Denmark at the winter time, the sunrise is around 8, so it's okay. But in summertime, it's like 4 or 3:30, something like that. You can start seeing the glow coming. So those summer nights you won't really sleep. So most of my sunrises I shoot in Taiwan is also really early. I normally will get out at 2 a.m., arrive my place around 3 a.m., and then I have some time to set up everything and start shooting basically. So yeah, because usually the glow is just coming like 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before the real sun rays. So, and you really want to catch that amazing glow.
The transition, yeah.
Yeah, right. So now we got all these files set, some keyframes.
Right.
It's many files, but the sequence is rather short in the way that from what I just saw in the previews earlier, there is not so many transitions happening. So I believe it would be okay with 3 or maybe 4 keyframes should actually do it.
Yeah, I had a short interval, so there were a lot of photos, a lot of frames captured. So when you're setting the keyframes, is there any strategy in that, or just what our time lapse recommends?
If the light is changing a lot or if the scene is changing a lot, then I need more keyframes to adjust it in Lightroom afterwards.
And would you put the keyframe right where that transition is? Like, for example, here there's that vertical drop off. Is that where you would put the keyframe, or would you put it before it or after it?
I will usually put it kind of like it has recommended here. So it is when the transition actually happens. And then I think you have some dust on your or maybe some grease on your lens.
Oh, okay.
I can see
How can you tell the grease?
I'm not sure how clear you can see it at your side, but around here there's some dark spots.
I see.
Right here is a dark spot, and right here.
Right.
Yeah, that's most likely caused by some grease on your lens. They have to be clinically clean.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because once you shoot, especially when you shoot against the sun, then these kind of things becomes extremely visible. And especially when you shoot at an aperture of 16. Stored Lightroom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very old one from Prague in Czech Republic. And then you can actually use this function here where you drag it.
Mhm.
You probably tried it already. And in this way, it will just add your time lapse into your catalog on your in your Lightroom. And then we have this feature of LRTimelapse where you can select the keyframes here. So,
Right. So right now, when you import it into Lightroom, you're just adding it. You're not importing all the files over again, right? There's
no,
like
I'm only adding the files. I mean,
Right.
my files are already
there.
in the location, the right place. So I'm only adding these files to my catalog now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't have them taking up double space. I try to categorize everything like Czech Republic, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Vietnam, and so on. And I also have another catalog with a lot of Denmark and so on, and other countries as well. So I always try to make catalogs. I'm in folders, so I can easily find things again if I need it.
Yeah, I'm definitely struggling with that now. I need to
Right.
learn how to use the catalog.
I think we can start with this one. While it imports, the problem with Lightroom sometimes is if you grade it too hard, it will create flicker in the final outcome. So it really depends on the time lapse, and it really depends on the light and the conditions you shoot this time lapse. But I have this feeling this one might be okay that we tweak it a little bit extra in Lightroom actually. It depends if you want to have the city more like a silhouette or you want the city to be more visible.
I like it to be more visible.
More visible, right.
Especially between the mountain and the city, like that there are two layers.
Right, okay.
I think it's lovely. You can see the layers.
Right. Usually I would give it a little bit extra temperature rise, since I believe it has a more burning feeling when you are actually there. And then I'm going to use these, which are made by LRTimelapse.
I love those.
Yeah, exactly. And we are kind of like limited to use those when we are working on this, since if you just do whatever you want, it's not gonna work with a lot of time lapse. So we are using those which that program provides us with. Yeah, I can't get into too many details, then it will create some noise, but I believe we can still enhance it like a little bit. Let me see.
So instead of using the shadow globally, which could cause flickers, you're using the luminous masking, or the radial masks. The gradient filter. There's so many names for them.
Yeah, I mean
the filters, the gradient filters to put in.
Yeah, the gradient filters, those here. Yeah, I'm just using the exposure. I was actually checking first how far can I go until I start to see some noise in the picture. Yeah, there's some noise, but it's like on 200%, so it's not too bad. The colors and everything here is really, really good. So I don't think we need to change that a lot. We
do have really nice sunrise and sunsets here in the winter.
Yeah, I can tell you really have great ones. We also have some here, but it's not like so frequently, I can tell. So it's really good. I'm a little bit. Normally, I won't use the shopping tool in here, but I think we might be okay to use a bit of it. I'm trying to sync this one with the other ones now, just to see how it's gonna feel like. Yeah, the city is more visible. That's good. But here you can actually, you can spot up a little bird here. But you can also see like there's a dark spot here and here and here. So those are yeah, from your lens.
Okay.
So yeah, so usually I have this kind of like a lens cloth with me to wipe up anything, and often when I come back, when I have been out shooting in maybe a little bit rain or by the water of the ocean, some place where you might have some strains of water on it, then I will always clean it when I come back home as well. But I never use my lens directly. I always have a neutral filter, UV filter on. Yeah, just
Really?
yeah, always. So I kind of like protect my lens,
Right.
the glass. Plus, if at some point that filter is damaged or dirty beyond repair or whatever, then I can always buy a new one and replace it. It's cheaper than getting a new lens. Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of noise here, which could be reduced later, but I think we're just gonna keep it like this. Yeah, it's quite nice. So I will just save the metadata. And then we have to get back into LRTimelapse and reload them.
And usually I don't often use the Holy Grail wizard. What about yourself? Like, and when would you
I
use?
always use Holy Grail when I shoot, but because you shoot it on AV mode, it will not be used in the same way here. But when I shoot on manual, it will by default switch to Holy Grail. Yeah, that was a jump here. Yeah, so we will need to run it. Oh, that's actually strange. Why is it doing that?
Did I change? I didn't touch the camera.
No, I don't think it's you. It's just strange. It seems like it's doing something weird. Let's see.
So right here, you're drawing a box.
Yeah, I'm just trying to focus on that point, basically.
So yeah, I'm a little bit confused about the use of the box too. I've read about it. So you're using that as like your reference.
Reference area, yeah. But
oh, the interval. Maybe I stopped it. Is that why? It seems that the interval is longer there. I don't remember stopping it because it went from 2 to 9. Is it?
Interval. Oh, yeah, but
I didn't. I wonder why it's longer. Huh.
It's true. That is strange. Okay, I think I have a way to. I mean, it's kind of like smoothened out now but it's still visible. There's still a little jump going on. Okay, I think I'm just going to try and bring it into After Effects and see how it goes.
So after you did the processing in LRT, you don't need to save. It's already automatically saved, or you did save.
In LRTimelapse, it automatically saved. In this version, it saved when I did the visual deflickering. So it's already saved into the metadata of the files. So we're gonna import. See. Okay. We need to select the camera raw sequence, and then we just go ahead.
So I really struggle with After Effects because it's I don't know if it maybe just takes too much CPU power. It's very, very slow on my computer.
Yeah, it's an extremely CPU intensive program. So yeah, it utilizes both the CPU and the graphic card, and it's a very rough one, to be honest. on your
I,
computer.
I usually just I started using After Effects to render per your advice.
Right.
But I would just get in, I'll render it, and then I would do everything on Premiere Pro.
Right. Yeah,
Little
it's
time
okay.
stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally okay to use Premiere after you made your time lapse rendering. Then it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably do the same. In your case, I would make the final time lapse rendering to the file, and then I would import that final file into Premiere and edit from there. It's only to actually assemble and to fine tune your time lapse. I would recommend After Effects.
Is there a way to tell what frame is on when it's running the time lapse?
You can switch to somewhere. You can switch to frame view. Let me see. Like here, if you zoom in, you can see there's a frame view here.
Oh, I
So
see.
that is actually frame by frame when we do it like this.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. When I press space, I can let it render a piece of it. So I can. Then I have just narrowed down the piece I wanted to work in right now. So pressing space, it will start to render this part. Oh, I did. It's right here.
That's the jump. Okay.
That's the jump. It's right here.
So what is this bar that you just changed the size of?
This is the selection I want to render. So
okay.
I'm just narrowing down this part of the whole time lapse. So you can see now I just press space and now it rendered only these images here. So now you can see the jump is happening on the screen. It's happening right in between here. It's not really that bad, but I'm trying. I will try and see if I can fix it somehow. So I'm going to apply a new layer, an adjustment layer. And I'm going to find a tool called white time. I'm going to apply it here. And what white time is doing is it will look at the image before and after and try to blend it together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in this case, I want it to look back and forth 2 frames and blend it together. And then hopefully it can smoothen out something. So I will just try and see if it works, if it's worse or not, but it could be that this could fix it. Let's see. And this kind of effect will take a lot of CPU power in your computer. So that one will really slow down things when you use this too much. It's still there though. But it's not as bad anymore. It's more like a little glow. You probably, maybe you cannot even see it at your site.
Yeah, I'm not even
as
attuned to it as you are.
Right. I mean, it's still here, but it doesn't look unnatural anymore. Now it looks more like the light is like slowly changing a little bit.
Okay.
So it can work. It can work.
Oh, so you're applying it to a wider.
I was applying this effect actually to the whole time lapse now.
Oh, okay.
So I could apply it to only that section.
Okay.
But actually, I choose to apply it to everything. So I just need to ramp it up because right now it starts at a 100%. So I have to do a keyframe. So I will start. I will start this effect, this white time effect, at a 0%, and then I will move maybe 5 frames ahead, and then I will ramp it up to 100. This way, it will have like a smooth
interesting
beginning. If you don't do this, it will just start. It will look like a flicker in the end or in the beginning. So I'm just
Oh, so why don't you just start it at 100% at for the very first frame?
Then it will
So you
be
won't have.
then it will be black, kind of like it will like have a very instant. It will not be smooth.
I
So
see.
this way it's gonna be smooth and it will fade out smooth in the end.
Mhm.
So you can't really start it at 0 or 100. So you just ramp it up and ramp it down. Usually I would maybe try and fix those.
The birds.
Not really the birds, because I think I only saw one, maybe two, and they were like so tiny. But I would normally try maybe and fix like your problem with the grease on your lens.
Okay.
But I'm a little bit hesitating to do it, because once I start to fix that one, I'm afraid it will kind of disturb your beautiful clouds. So
Oh.
I would rather leave it alone in this case, honestly.
So there's no so when they're moving clouds, it's very hard to fix those.
You can fix it, but there will sometimes be worse artifacts, and I feel that your dust or grease is not that big, so it's not like a super big problem. And if I started to clone stamp it out or remove it, I'm kind of afraid that it will just be worse. So I will rather skip it for this one.
And then for me, I usually fix the dust in Premiere Pro with the dust effect. Would you recommend using Premiere Pro, or do you usually, when you do fix them, do you fix them in After Effects or Premiere?
I always fix it in After Effects, no matter what it is. But you can of course try and fix it in Premiere as well. It will be less power consuming on your CPU if you do it in Premiere Pro, because you already rendered the file. After Effects is of course really intensive, because everything is working on, in this case, 1,200 raw files. So it takes a lot of power. We're going to render it. I always use the simple render queue, which is here, and I have made some fixed profiles already. So nowadays we are always rendering in a ProRes 4K 422 HQ resolution. So that is the setting we have. So we try and render it, see how it turns out in the end. It's gonna take a while, so it's good we can speed this up later. I'm using mine is like really large ones, like these magnetic ones. That's actually some filters we started producing for ourselves. We wanted to sell them, but we didn't get to it yet because I got too busy and my health and all that. But you can see this one is like a graduated one.
Right. Yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah. And graduated is really nice because you can, for sunrises and stuff like that, it's really neat that you can still have your city down here getting a lighter exposure, and you can still bring down the strong light from the sun rays. I'm normally using an ND32 and 64 and ND1000 filter, and then I have this one I showed you here. The graduated one is 0.9. So basically, I usually have those 4 filters always in my bag. So usually for my sunrises, I will use the ND32 filter, and I will combine it. I will combine it with my graduated one.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Great. And then wish you a good day in LA with a nice lunch.
Oh, thank
hopefully.
You. Yeah, you have a good night there in Denmark.
Oh, thank you very much. And talk to you next time.
Yeah, talk to you soon. It was really nice collaborating and watch you do the whole time lapse.
Hope you had some useful information from this
A
session?
lot, yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna
great.
be watching YouTube videos now on like the various things and like software filters. Yes.
All right. Have a nice
Great.
day and talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. I'll talk to
Okay.
you soon. I'll talk to you online. All right. Bye,
Right.
Henrik.
Bye bye.